What's up, YouTube? It's Intellectual Money here. Today is a discussion about the B word. The B word was a discussion that recently happened. Some of the more brilliant minds of today came together to have a discussion about the B word. And these people, they tend to have a lot to do with innovation, technology, and how that affects the world around us. This chat can be found on ARK Invest channel. I'll link below so you guys can go check that out. There's more that goes into this chat, and we'll be discussing that today. This chat featured CEO and CIO of ARK Invest, Cathie Wood, CEO of Twitter and Square, Jack Dorsey, and CEO and founder of several companies, Elon Musk. This chat initially came through as a live stream, as each individual essentially just said their opinions on the current monetary system and why they believe it is lacking or needs a little bit of tweaking to just improve life for humanity. Due to the current monetary system and how we use it and see it today, the speakers in this chat essentially expressed how people and corporations just haven't reached their true potential since the first implementation of the internet in the 90s. I've personally done extensive research onto the monetary system and cryptocurrencies and how crypto could essentially aid or improve the monetary system. But I would encourage people that are watching this video to read a book called The Bitcoin Standard, and or even watch the live stream amongst these three people. I think together with those two things, you can bring together a greater understanding of this whole Bitcoin craze. Like, just in case you were new to Bitcoin and crypto, because that world could get a little hectic at times. It was no secret. The B word, they made it seem like a secret, but it really wasn't. We all knew it meant Bitcoin. Bitcoin's a fascinating technology. It has the potential to, solve some of the issues of some nations being heavily hyperinflated, which is not good for its people and the nation. And then also was brought up about like certain companies and how maybe they could get away from an advertisement style business model if they were to incorporate crypto or Bitcoin into their business. Elon made it clear that he is not a slut when it comes to investments. He doesn't believe in too many investments outside of his private and publicly traded companies that he runs. He does not have too many investments outside of these companies, where he mentioned that he has Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Dogecoin, of course. In addition, announcing that SpaceX and Tesla, as we do know, have also put Bitcoin on their respective balance sheets. SpaceX being a privately traded company, Elon never even had to admit that Bitcoin was on his balance sheet, but I feel like he did so just to put that stamp on and just show the world like he actually truly does believe that Bitcoin has the potential to solve a lot of the issues in society and probably on a company level, and that that he really hopes for the success of Bitcoin, and he actually mentioned that also in the video. He'd actually rather hope Bitcoin succeeds than doesn't, as you can obviously tell by his investments he's invested. Jack, whose company Square owns a respectable amount of Bitcoin, believes that the cryptocurrency can potentially become the new foundation of the monetary system that we see today. He even mentioned that Square is considering building an Bitcoin hardware wallet, which would just further expand and work on that adoption for Bitcoin into mainstream society. As what was also mentioned in the live stream, to get the full utility out of Bitcoin and what it was initially created to be, people need to have sole access to their private keys. This hardware from Jack can prove beneficial in providing that extra control and security over your own Bitcoin rather than having, as we see today with Coinbase and other companies, having these exchanges take care of your Bitcoin for you. I agree with this, and I hope Jack is successful with rolling this out in the future. And to put it on like a balance scale, this hardware wallet, even though it may not initially come out as like the most craziest thing, it might take some time to gain adoption. I feel like it is almost equally as important as a company like Coinbase, in that Coinbase is important. It allows people to buy and sell crypto, and it has definitely helped in the adoption of crypto over time since its inception. But I feel like that hardware wallet is like that next step into truly getting to the essence of what Bitcoin was, and Bitcoin was essentially trying to be when the creators created it back in 2008, 2009. Even beyond the initial hedge against inflation that we all know that Bitcoin could be. Earlier, Kathy Wood mentioned also about how Bitcoin can solve for that high remittance fees that everyone has to deal with when they're trying to send money from one country to the next, and when you're sending to family members, friends. There's always that exchange rate and fees that go on top of it. Bitcoin could essentially come in and be that disruptor to that whole ecosystem. My thoughts on that is that essentially this gives Bitcoin a higher stance, and that it just gives certain conveniences that gold and even fiat currency just cannot compete with in the current system. And maybe with that, we can see Bitcoin become the world's reserve currency. I know in the live stream, Elon Musk had a few things to say about that, and how he thinks that first Bitcoin needs to go to that layer two with the Lightning Network to have quicker transactions rather than us waiting like 15 minutes or so per transaction. I agree with him on that, and we will see how Bitcoin develops over time. Just so you guys know, I'm only mentioning like certain points in the video and live stream that I think were monumental or have huge potential impacts for the future. If you want to see everything, once again, this is not like a summary of the video. It's so I would suggest just go and watch the video yourself if you want to get every minute detail about it. And we'll get into the next point. Next, Kathy Wood pressed on Elon about how potentially fusing Powerwall and solar to potentially be a future mining situation for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. I've actually mentioned this in a prior video of mine where I was talking about what Elon could do with mining and crypto, especially with the resources at his disposal. I'm pretty sure I said something along the lines of Elon potentially providing a platform where Tesla customers could either use their car or the Powerwall and solar to essentially mine cryptocurrencies. But it looked like in this live stream, Elon was a little bit more reserved on his answer, and he was looking for other energies to potentially be a better play, which was, I think he said, nuclear as one of his answers. If you guys know, Elon doesn't truly like hyping things up unless he has it ready around the corner, besides full self-driving. And for this to even be more of a talking point, I feel like for Elon, he would have to have like things in place, like actually like ready for crypto mining. And if so, I would put the odds on 2022 and 2023 on being more of a possibility of we starting to truly hear about Elon creating some allowing customers to mine Dogecoin or something like that. So that ends it there for what I believe was the major viewpoints. I have respect for all the individuals that were in this talk, and they essentially, some people may look at them a little differently, some people may look at them with respect, but they essentially have Jack, Elon, and Kathy, they essentially have that rebel style trait. which is a trait that I personally value, being that rebel, but, for others, it might not be their taste. With talks like this, these talks weren't happening as much, in the last bull run and the prior bull runs. This is starting to show us that, institutions and corporations are just not playing around with cryptocurrencies anymore. Crypto, with Bitcoin going up to 65,000, with it being less than 4,000 last year, it's starting to become too big not to mention, and corporations are starting to put the Bitcoin on their balance sheets. They're starting to see that this thing is not some just one-off thing and is going to go away, like a meme essentially, but that this thing is actually here to stay, and everyone that has started to adopt it, essentially the earlier you have done it, the better off you were. So they don't want to have the next 10 years go by and then be like the late bloomers and trying to get into cryptocurrencies. Then they want to do it as soon as possible so that they could really reap the benefits of truly being in that space and getting products out there involved in crypto and just getting into that space and just implementing in that area. The utility and potential for Bitcoin is just absolutely massive. And even if we look in the last, year and a half, with all the money printing, it's just once again showing, the necessity for something like Bitcoin. Corporations aren't stupid, and regardless how big their balance sheets are, big and small, that extra cash they have laying around, they know that it's just essentially being printed away, and how, in terms of a big business standpoint, to have some Bitcoin on the balance sheet could actually be very crucial, and crucial in terms of just making sure their money isn't just losing to inflation, and that they will continue to flourish into the future. While Bitcoin is still below 40,000, and it could potentially even go even lower, I would encourage people. This is not financial advice, but I would encourage people to do these three things. Accumulate when you deem necessary. Continue to research and learn more about Bitcoin and crypto, why it's even a necessity in today's society. And then three, just learn about technical analysis. Use it to identify good and great times to accumulate and buy into Bitcoin. Those three things there, while we're below 40,000, 5, 10 years from now, if Bitcoin and cryptos are still successful, essentially you're going to want to thank me later, based off of if you start doing those three things right now. This is just an assumption of mine, and you can look into the news if you can see if there's any murmurs about this. I think there is. I think some corporations are actually starting to hire certain, people with high technical analysis ability revolving around Bitcoin and crypto, just so that these corporations know that they're getting in at opportune times to buy into these cryptos and stuff like that. So if these corporations are doing it, I just think that as people in charge of their own financials, it's very important that we do the same, not in terms of hiring people, but maybe just educating ourselves on TA, just to figure out for amongst ourselves good times to buy in and good times to sell and everything like that. If you need any help when it comes to trying to figure out technical analysis with cryptocurrencies, there's several videos on YouTube that can help. There's courses that people have. I would try to, just anything you can, just make sure you're doing those three things that I just mentioned while we're below 35,000, 30,000, 40,000. In the long run, even if it's not just Bitcoin, it's if you're buying other cryptocurrencies that are good projects and that actually do something, in the long run, you're going to be thanking me. You're just going to be thanking me later. That's it. To not do those three things, I would just hate to be a part of that crowd. Even as we sit here today, there's a crowd that learned about cryptocurrency. There's a group of people that learned about cryptocurrency in 2012, 2013, 2014, 2018. They all wish they were doing those three things into the current day, and it better now than never, I say. Just to even have a live stream with these three individuals, think about the monumental feats that all three of them, Kathy Woods, Elon Musk, and Jack Dorsey, have done in their lives. They took an hour and I think 6 minutes of their time to speak about Bitcoin, and they even have it as personal investments of theirs. I feel like this just shows that the potential of such a prosperous future for crypto and Bitcoin is very real, and it's just the people that adopt it as soon as possible and then try to figure out truly the essence behind it, day in day out, they just reap the rewards. All right, guys, that's all I have for this one. Those are my key points on it. Once again, it was a really great live stream to watch. Just to piece together, certain things being said, and to utilize that information for ourselves, I think can be very crucial into where, these corporations are going with Bitcoin and what they're thinking about what it can be to the future. These CEOs are definitely giving us a good insight on that. All right, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. I'd appreciate that. Smash the like button like Tinder, like always. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.